Hello students, today we are going to start the new chapter 2, which is electrostatic potential and capacitance. So last year we studied in class 11th about potential energies and work done which can stored in a substance or in an object like potential of that potential. Now what is capacitance? When we charge something which is not conductor, so it has a capacity to store charge, that is called capacitance. So this is a basic introduction to this chapter, and as we progress in this chapter we will learn more about these things. So let us start this new chapter. So first of all, I would like to say, if you have not gone through complete chapter 1, please go through complete chapter 1, because that is the fundamental knowledge for this book. This book is quite difficult in comparison to your class 11 book. So first you go through completely chapter 1, that will help you understanding this chapter 2. So they have started with this notion that in last year you learned about gravitational forces, and in gravitational forces, as the body moves, it stores a potential energy. Suppose if you lift an object to a certain height, so you know it has a certain potential, and if you leave it, so it will start falling under gravity, and its kinetic energy will keep on increasing while potential energy will keep on decreasing. So that what we discussed last year, that the sum of kinetic and potential energies is always conserved. We discussed this case for spring as well as gravitational force, or we discussed for a simple pendulum. For a spring and for a simple pendulum, we discussed these cases. Similarly, similar kind of thing happens here in electrostatics. So Coulomb force between two stationary charges is also a conservative force. What is a conservative force? See, the gravitational force and spring force were two examples which you had seen last year, were two examples of conservative force. Forces for which the sum of potential and kinetic energy is conserved are called conservative force. Coulomb force also between two stationary charges is a conservative force. So please note this down. It could come in your exam that what is the nature of Coulomb force. So the nature of Coulomb force is a conservative force. It is also a conservative force. This is not surprising since both have inverse square dependence on distance. So you remember the gravity also has a 1 by r square dependence, and Coulomb law also has a 1 by r square dependence, and differ mainly in proportionality constants. So only difference is because of proportionality constants. G is quite small, gravitational constant, while this K 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is quite high. So that is the only thing. Thus, like the potential energy of a mass in a gravitational field. So we saw that in a gravitational field there is a potential energy stored in an object as you lift it up or you move it. So similarly we can define an electrostatic potential energy. So this time same potential energy but with the word electrostatic, because we are moving in a electric field, so of a charge in electrostatic fields. So this much is the introduction to this. Now let us go to the derivation or to the concept. So first let us see the figure, then we will read through it. So see, one charge Q is here, this is capital charge, there is another test charge, this is small q. So as you know that for understanding we are taking both the charges positive. This capital Q is positive and this small q is also positive. And till now you are well aware that if both the charges are of same nature, that means both are positive, they will repel each other. So instead of taking two positive charges, we can take two negative charges as well. So the nature will be quite similar. Only thing is we are not taking one charge to be positive, one charge to be negative because of the convention. So there are some assumptions that first, this charge is quite big. Let us say this charge is quite big and bulky. So as we move this charge, the small charge, which we also call test charge, so because of repulsion it will not move, or it is somehow screwed to the table. So that means it will not move. So with the help of some screw, we fixed it to a table, so it will not move. Somehow the arrangements were made. So as we move this small cube, this will not be moved from its place. So this is the diagram. So first thing is that both the charges are positive. Charge capital Q is quite big, and this charge small q is quite small in comparison to this bigger charge. Now what we are trying to do is that this charge was at point R. This charge was at point R, and we are bringing this charge to point P. So this charge small q is brought from point R to point P, and see here, q is positive greater than 0, that means positive, as well as charge small q, both are positive, and there is nothing special, only thing because of convention we are taking both of them to be positive. So this is the case. Now let us understand what they are trying to say. Consider an electrostatic field E. So you know each and every positive or negative charge will create a field due to this, and since this is a positive charge, so field will move outwards in all the direction in 3D sphere. Again remember, this is a 3D sphere, though you cannot see the third dimension, but this is coming out and this is going inside the plane as well. So the field is in 3D, and also you saw this field extends up to infinity. So even if there is a very small charge, and there is nothing, no other charge, so its field will go up to infinity. Its field will go up to infinity, though magnitude will be very small. So a particle will not experience a large amount of force, the magnitude will be very less, but the field will extend up to infinity. So now this is the charge, and consider an electrostatic field or electric field E. Electric field or electrostatic field both are same, so don't confuse about it. Due to some charge configuration, for simplicity consider E is the field due to a charge Q placed at origin. So this capital Q is placed at origin. From origin we are considering the distance of this point R and this point P. Now imagine that we bring a test charge. So the test charge from a point R to point P. So we are bringing from here to here. Against the repulsive force, since both are positive, so the forces must be repulsive. On due to it a charge Q. So we know that forces must be repulsive. So now this is the figure, what we have seen, what we have understood. To the figure 2.1, this will happen if Q and Q both are positive, that we have seen, or if both are negative. So that means repulsive forces only when both are positive or negative. For definiteness, we take Q and Q both greater than 0. So this is only a matter of convention. This is nothing, just they are trying to say for sake of convention we are taking both of them to be positive. Two remarks may be made here. First, we assume that test charge is Q is so small that I had already discussed, that it does not disturb the original configuration that I had already discussed, or else we keep Q fixed at the origin by some unspecified force. Simply we fix it on a table. Second, in bringing the charge Q from R to P, we apply some external force, an external force F external, just enough to counter the repulsive electrostatic force or electric force. So this is the second assumption. Let us see what is this second assumption.